Oh. So, you want me to...
You ready for the question? Or do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I'll keep up with the story.
Go ahead.
So anyway, the music teacher in the public school that we transferred to said, I'll teach anybody who wants to play the organ as much as I know. So I did. So she started teaching me because there were foot pedals involved. And then after a while she said, well, I can't teach you anymore. I don't know anymore. But I can transfer you to somebody who can. So she transferred me to a lady who played in downtown Milwaukee at a well-known nightclub. Her name was, what was her name? I can't say, it'll come to me. So I started taking lessons from her, and I had to go to her house. She lived in Wauwatosa, so like from where I went to high school, Girls Tech was like on 19th and Wells. That was quite a bus trip, and then I had to walk a few blocks at the end of the bus line to her house. So Kay Sterling, that was her name. So anyway, she started teaching me, but she had to have the music in front of her. She didn't read music, and she
didn't read music?
I mean, she didn't know how to improvise. You know, that wasn't her thing. So, but she was good. She smiled a lot, and you know, she was very theatrical. So I took lessons from her, and then I graduated from high school, and she said, oh, I want you to meet my agent. So my mother took me to his office, and he said, oh, she looks older. I could use her. But he
Your
said,
agent said that to
Yeah.
you, about you?
Yeah. But he says, not with that name. So he changed my name. He gave me the name of Warren. And at the time, or just before that, there was a famous actress. Her name was Fran Warren. No, she was a singer, I think. So anyway, I became Jan Warren. So David, we in the way?
No, I think we're okay, Grandma. There's no one behind us.
So he booked me. That must have been 1952. And that was before everybody had television. So the International Harvester Company, once a year they'd put on a show for their customers, and like a vaudeville show. And I would play for the different acts, and so I did that for a while, and then I thought, gosh, this is boring. I don't want to just play the same thing every night, you know. I think we're in their way, David.
Grandma, we're fine. They're whipping around. They're good to go.
So anyway, I did that for a while, and I even went down to somewhere in the south. They had a route there that they had, you know, that they played for the people. So after a while, I thought, that isn't the kind of music I want to do, you know, playing the same thing, you know, every night. So I got a chance to play at this restaurant. It was a hotel restaurant. It was not far from where we lived. I mean, like the next town or so over. And so I could sit there and play anything I wanted. And I thought, yeah, this is what I like. So I did that for a while.
What do you mean by a while? Like a couple years? A couple months?
Let's see, maybe a year or so.
Okay.
And then you know, the agent would send me on different jobs because you'd be booked for like so many weeks in one place, and then they'd change, you know, entertainment. So then I got finally I got booked in Kansas City at the Phillips Hotel, and that's where I met Bill Exbuehler.
Keep going.
He was playing there on the third floor. They
Do you
had
remember what year this was?
about 1954, I think.
Okay, so 5 years before Mom was born.
Oh, about 6 maybe.
Okay.
He was playing in a third floor, like it was like a little theater, not a theater, but a little nightclub, and they had a storm behind the bar every hour. You know, they'd have thunder and lightning and rain and everything. And he played there with a drummer, and he'd been there a lot, so he was well known. And you know, I played down in the main cocktail lounge off the lobby. So, you know, I was playing, doing my thing, and he'd come down and, you know, listen to me. He was interested, you know. So we finally got to know each other and started to date and everything.
Do you remember any of your dates? Like where you went, what you did?
No.
Did you go to the movies? Did you go fishing?
No. I think we went out to eat and
Went out to eat?
or hear other entertainers, you know, that were playing.
Okay.
So that was that part of the story. And then it's interesting, when I first started playing, talk about my mother disappointed. She was disappointed because she was just dying to get me to give her my paychecks, which was a lot of money in those days. I don't know if it was like $150 a week. And she just begged me to give her the money, and then she would like dole it out to me. And I thought to myself, no, I want to grow up and, you know, be my own person, so I wouldn't ever do that. And she was really disappointed that I wouldn't do that.
And would she take any off the top for the family?
Well, she never got a chance to, because I never gave it I gave it to her. I remember when we moved into our house on 110th Street, I was just starting to play then, I think. And I paid for the living room drapes. I remember that, because I was, you know, playing then. But that's all I kind of remember about that. But she was just dying to get her mitts on my paycheck.
Is that just like a really old school way?
Yeah. So, you know, and then she'd have control over me.
Sure.
And, you know, I didn't want that. I was trying to get away from all that.
So transition from meeting Grandpa Bill to giving birth to Mom.
Oh, well.
So Grandpa Bill had already had Chris and Craig,
Oh, he
right?
was, he was 11 years older than I was.
Okay.
And he'd been married and divorced, and he had 2 little boys. And so he once told me that the real reason he married me is because he knew that Chris and Craig would have a good life with me, because at the time their mother was really unstable. She was a beautiful young lady, and she wanted to run around and, you know, do her thing. And he knew, you know, he had met my family and everything. He knew they were stable and that boys would have it good. So anyway, we went together, you know, a long time. We'd meet each other on weekends, you know, like our day off, and then like I'd take a train or whatever back to whatever town I was playing in, and we try to get them close enough so that we could do that. And then finally we got married in Madison, Wisconsin. And
was it a big wedding, or was
no,
it just the courthouse?
Just the courthouse. And we didn't even tell anybody for 6 months, because he didn't want to change his whatever, you know.
His whatever? I don't know. What does that mean?
Well, his lifestyle. I mean, he didn't want everybody to know he was married, I guess.
Okay.
So then finally, after 6 months, he decided he wanted to tell everybody. And then in 1958 is when I got pregnant. He was playing in Green Bay at the hotel there. And so then your mother was born then like exactly 9 months and 12 minutes after that.
Oh, wow. So Mom was conceived in Green Bay?
Yeah.
And was Grandpa Bill there when Mom was born and
No.
he was gone?
No, he was playing, yeah. But he finished his engagement within like a week, and then he came to Milwaukee. That's where I was with the new baby.
Was he happy to have another baby, or
Yeah, he was happy that because he wanted me to go through the process, and so yeah, he was happy that it was a girl because there had been not all boys in his family for I don't know about 60 years.
oh wow,
And in fact, the Milwaukee Journal was, they were going to do a story on that in the paper. And so the photographer came out and took a picture, and that's the picture I have of her at 10 days old with me. But then Khrushchev came to town, and so that threw all the papers, just into coverage of him.
Sure.
And they never did put that about me in the paper, but I got the picture, which was, good.
Khrushchev is the Russian prime minister?
Yeah, right. And that was big news.
And okay, so Mom is born, and can you take me through some of the things, between Mom being born and her being 18? Some big life moments that you remember and how she acted? Grandpa,
These people, are we in their way?
I don't think so, Grandma. I think that,
Maybe we could do that for the next segment. I have to think about that.
okay. Before you go.
And I have to tell you about her back problem.
True,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, hold on. So you, from 1959,
She was born.
before that 6 years was 1953. You and Grandpa Bill dated.
I don't think we met till 54.
Okay, so 1954 to 1959.
Yeah.
You guys were dating, but kind of a long distance thing,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
And then once Mom was born, did Grandpa Bill become more?
No.
He was still kind of long distance.
Yeah. He was really a bachelor all along. He wasn't family material.
Right.
So nothing like Grandpa Roy.
Right.
So
Did you feel like that was nice for your lifestyle, or were you looking also for something more,
no, it just kind of evolved. It's I wanted to be in the business and
but you didn't have expectations of Grandpa Bill to be more at
a
home?
better father, and then he wasn't faithful to me either.
Right.
So
We know that story now. But you didn't have, you weren't upset that he was gone all the time. You were okay with
No,
it because you know that it
because-
was evolving or something.
well, because that's how it started.
Right. That was pretty consistent.
In fact, for a while he said, "Oh, I'm going to buy a house in Miami, and we're going to stay down there for a lot of the time." So he did. He bought this house, and I thought, "Oh boy, I'll be able to furnish it and get." And God, was I wrong? He didn't want to spend a penny for anything. So, and he even there was like a side part of the house. And he even invited his friends to come down there and stay there and, give him money for it. And I thought, well, this isn't what I wanted, So.
And what did your dad think of, I think we already covered this. Your parents didn't really have opinions on Grandpa Bill?
Well, I don't know. They accepted him, I guess, but
Would your dad have liked him more if he was more Italian, do you think?
no.
He just judged him for his character.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, they knew that I played and traveled, and so, you know, they didn't really hold anything against him because he did the same thing.
True.
Well, I better go in now, huh?
That was good, Grandma. We got a good 15 minutes.
What?
We got a good 15 minutes.